1993, this guy was about to explode onto the Hollywood scene and become the next big thing. As big as Jackie Chan. He had the kicks, the punches, and the charm to be an A-list Hollywood star. He just appeared in both Ninja Turtle movies, and he was the poster boy for fame. But just 8 years later, in 2001, he was a mere flicker in this scene in Rush Hour 2. So, what happened? How did Hollywood's most promising young movie action star end up not fulfilling his potential and instead becoming a could-have-been? Ernie Reyes Jr. was born in 1972 in California. He was raised in a tight, martial arts-driven Filipino-American family. Ernie's father, Ernie Reyes Sr., is a legend in American martial arts circles. Founder of the West Coast Martial, Ernie was taught taekwondo, karate, Filipino weapons, aerobatic tricking, and kickboxing fundamentals at the age of just 6. And at the age of 6, he joined his father's West Coast demo team, which became famous for its acrobatic, flash-heavy demonstrations. And at just 8 years old, he was scouted by a man who knew a little thing or two about working with young talent. Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown and the Jackson 5 to some degree, was a movie producer back in the 80s, and upon seeing Reyes Jr., he thought that his unique abilities would work well on the big screen. And that was that. He was cast in the movie The Last Dragon, released in 1985. The movie was seen as a vehicle for its lead actor, Tamak Leroy Green. Kung Fu movies were hugely popular in American black culture in the 70s and 80s. This movie was Berry Gordy capitalizing on the genre and the talents of its lead. Reyes Jr. had a small but memorable role in the movie, and to a degree, it was a success. The movie made $25 million on a budget of just $10 million. And more than anything, it made a huge cultural splash. And in turn, this led to Reyes doing his next movie, Red Sonja, in the same year. Now, Red Sonja was part of the whole Conan the Barbarian universe, before movie universes were actually a thing. But it also wasn't part of the universe, owing to that typical Hollywood license rights BS. Just think of it as to why Spider-Man is and isn't part of Disney's MCU. But all of that's for another video. And maybe even a little video on Arnie, eh? Hit the like button if you'd like that. But this was a massive upgrade for Reyes Jr., starring alongside Arnie, who was just becoming a Hollywood icon, and a red-hot Bridget Nielsen. Did you see what I did there? Red hot? Because the movie's called... It doesn't matter.
Not funny.
The point is, the movie was a massive upgrade, with Reyes having way more screen time. But the movie was a flop, grossing just $6 million on a budget of $17 million. But all was not lost, because the young star had more than enough notoriety now. And what came next was a flurry of TV roles in MacGyver, the TV show where the guy gets stuck in a room and he always builds something in within the room and then gets it out of the room. Crazy show. You should watch it. The A-Team, and most importantly, as the lead in the new TV show Sidekicks, which was cancelled immediately. I mean, the show was about a martial arts prodigy solving crimes with a police detective. If that actually sounds awesome to you, then you're really gonna love this. But in 1990, at the age of 18, something happened that turned him into a star. The only issue was, no one knew he was in the movie. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the movie that spawned from the massive success of the TV show. Now, if you're in the UK like me, you may know the show as Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, because apparently the word ninja is just far too violent for the UK.
Harry!
What?
It's an inanimate object.
You're an inanimate object!
But the movie producers for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles needed someone small, agile, and with elite martial arts movement to stick in a suit and play a turtle. So now would be a really good time for me to mention that Reyes Jr. basically was a young adult. However, he only stood at 5'4", which may be seen to some as a bit of a curse, but in this instance, it was a blessing, because he was perfect for the role of Donatello. And this movie wasn't just a success, It was groundbreaking. Until Blair Witch Project, 9 years later, this was the most successful indie movie ever. On a budget of just $13 million, it amassed $202 million. This success prompted New Line Cinema, the company behind the movies, to greenlight a sequel with an amazing name, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Secret of the Ooze. Yes, not an amazing name, but let's move on. But that is really going to be a theme of this video. Now, this movie was the big moment for Reyes, because this sequel allowed him to step out of the suit and become a main character, as he played Pizza Boy Keno. Now, this was the moment that made him a star. Now, at a good age for stardom, his wisecracking high-kick performance saw him go from kind of recognizable star to massive star. He's practically the co-lead human character in this movie. And he was in all the marketing too, the posters, the VHS covers, and the TV promos. The movie was another hit. Now, not as successful as the first, but still a hit.
From karate class to Hollywood. You believe it when he says that, though. He believes he can do anything he wants to do.
Makes me feel like I'm covered in cobwebs.
A little slower.
Overnight, he became the poster boy for 90s kids. And with his popularity at his peak, it was time for him to finally become a lead actor. Maybe something cool like the Karate Kid spin-off, or maybe John Connor in Terminator 5 or something. Or maybe just a movie called Surf Ninjas? Am I reading this title right? No, that can't be what this is called. Sorry, I just need to talk to my writer for a second. Just bear with me. Dude, I asked you to write me an accurate script that was outstanding and engaging and super on the ball. What is this Surf Ninjas bullshit? What? What? No, you have to speak louder. Really? Really? Okay, well. Okay. It seems like this movie is actually called Surf Ninjas. Okay, so I get it, kinda. Point Break had just come out a couple of years prior, and Turtles was big, and that also used the word ninjas. It was the early 90s, people were obsessed with surfing.
Surf's up, dude!
And Rob Schneider was hot off SNL, Leslie Nielsen was a legend, and New Line Cinema loved Reyes Jr. So it was an action movie, surfer, flick, comedy, adventure, romp type thing. It all made sense. Kinda. But in reality, it made zero sense. It was like people who love anchovies on their pizza. And the box office just literally confirmed what my little monologue just alluded to. It was a flop. $4.9 million box office on a budget of $6 million. Now, I saw this movie on VHS as a kid and I kinda loved it. It had a few stand-up moments, especially from Snyder and Nielsen. And that's actually where a lot of kids saw this movie, on VHS. But much like a lot of people who watched this movie, I didn't see Reyes as a standout star. He just kind of blended in with the patchwork mishmash of nonsense on screen. And ultimately, in Hollywood, you kinda only get one big crack at leading man stardom before it's game over. That's not fair! Unless you're Jay Courtney or Glenn Powell.
Stop filming me!
You see, that was kind of it for Reyes Jr. No more leading roles. Throughout the rest of the 90s, he appeared in TV shows and very small movies like Kung Fu, The Legend Continues, The Process, and various other small movies. For Reyes, the slump was astronomical, with him even becoming a fighter at one stage in 1999 for ESPN's Strikeforce. We had 3 wins out of 3. It seemed like the Hollywood dream was long gone. Even a mini comeback in an extremely small blink or you miss it role in Rush Hour 2 in 2001 didn't move the needle much. It was just 2 years later in the Dwayne the Rock Johnson vehicle, The Rundown, when he had perhaps his best on-screen fight ever and a mini comeback of sorts. And he got this role purely because he began to transition from Hollywood actor to Hollywood stuntman. which is a weird transition. Most people like Jackie Chan start off behind the scenes doing stunts before then becoming #1 name on the call sheet. Reyes Jr. did the opposite, and honestly, the fight was a sharp and present reminder of just how much potential he really had. He was super quick, incredibly agile, and his impacts felt real. It makes for an incredibly memorable fight. But it just wasn't enough to bring him back to the limelight. Instead, he continued his stunt work throughout the 2000s and the early 2010s, working on movies like Indiana Jones and The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which sucks.
Show me the money.
But doesn't suck as bad as the newest Indiana Jones. Alice in Wonderland, The Scorpion King, and even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot. But in 2014, tragedy struck.
Filipino-American movie and TV star Ernie Reyes Jr. is in need of help while waiting for a kidney transplant. Known for his stunt work as Donatello in the first live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, suffers from kidney failure.
His kidneys were functioning at around 10 to 15% of normal, and that is end-stage renal disease. He needed emergency dialysis, constant medical visits, and an immediate transplant. His medical bills were huge. His family opened a GoFundMe, raising all of its $75,000 target. And it showed just how much money he wasn't making in Hollywood, because stunt performers don't get big residuals or any Hollywood insurance. His fans rallied around him, and thankfully in 2015, Ernie's sister donated one of her kidneys to him and saved his life. He slowly returned to training and rebuilt muscle and mobility, allowing him to work again and focus on his kids. He said afterwards that he felt reborn. And since then, he's appeared in a few projects. But mainly, he can be seen at martial arts seminars and Comic-Cons. His battle with his health also maybe explains why his career kind of took a downturn and he went into stunts instead. Kidney failure can bring about low energy, fatigue, inability to do long working days, all of which potentially led to his failure to crack into the elite of Hollywood actors. For now though, he remains focused on training his kids in martial arts, like his dad did for him when he was a kid, and just this year, he went into production on a movie called Ninjaverse. Ninjaverse might be his comeback, a martial arts fantasy movie he wrote, produced, directed, and stars in, alongside his children. Shot with virtual production tech, it's a way of building the martial arts universe that Hollywood never gave him. And honestly, much like some of the other action stars we've covered who haven't quite made it big, he's always been without any scandals, controversies, and remained humble, nice, disciplined, and respectful. And that counts for more than A-list stardom. It's a different kind of success, and one that can't be measured in box office takings.
One of the most important things is developing that positive attitude of, I could do anything I want to do.
Right, time for the ratings. For skills, Reyes Jr. is extremely proficient in many martial arts and trained almost from birth. His fight with The Rock shows just how good he is. I'm going to give him a 10 here. With movies, unfortunately, owing to Hollywood's inability to give Asian actors more than one chance at a lead role, he has really suffered. Whilst Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was huge, both of the movies he starred in, the rest of his resume is not great. I'm gonna have to give him a 6 here, and maybe even that is me being generous. For screen presence, for a while in the 90s he really stood out, hence his chance to crack big with Surf Ninjas, which I still can't believe is the title of an actual movie. But ultimately, right or wrong, when he got his big chance, it failed. And that isn't in total part due to him, but still, we can only go by what we know. So I'm gonna have to give him a 6 here. Okay, for versatility, I will give him props for transitioning into a successful stuntman. Stunt work is not easy, and it's always been a seriously underrated element of movie making. Thankfully, next year, the Oscars will award stunt performers. However, as a lead or supporting actor, he's not shown any versatility and I'm gonna have to give him another 6 here. And legacy, I mean, the man is a legend in his own right. I reckon you may have seen him somewhere over the years, but he's really not been on the level of someone like a Mark Dacuscus or maybe even a Joe Teslim. I have to give him another 6. And maybe that's a little harsh, so as always, let me know in the comments if you'd like that to be higher. And that's a final score of 34, which seems fair. I have to say I didn't know much about him prior to this video, but I do remember him from many films from my childhood. His name was suggested by you guys in previous videos, so feel free to suggest more names in the comments. I do read all of the comments on every single video. These names on the screen right now help the channel to grow. I absolutely love every one of you. If you want to join my Patreon or become a channel member, the link is in the description. It means a lot. Now, I asked for 2,000 likes on the Donnie Yen video so that I can make a Jet Li video, and the video currently sits at 1.4 thousand likes. If you jump onto that video now and hit the like button and make it 2,000, there'll be a Jet video next. And you know what? Whilst you're at it, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe. Peace out and big love.